the anxiety down. He probably wants to stand up and defend himself, but can't. His life is on the line. Just putting myself in his shoes. I like that answer, Andrew. That may be what's going on. Teresa Jean-Pierre Coy, let me ask you. You're a criminal defense attorney. He wants to stand up and defend himself. He has a chance to do that. He can testify as a criminal defendant. Let me ask you, do you think tomorrow he's going to stand up and defend himself?
No. No, I don't think so. If I'm his attorney, I'm advising him that he shouldn't do it. At this point, his attorney has done everything that he can possibly do. He's created, the most reasonable job that he can with the evidence that's been given. I think at this point, and he's going to have to stand up to some tough cross-examination. And if it's Blackwell, oh boy, just forget about it. But yeah, I'm advising him not to. And I do want to also say, I really like Andrew's answer to the question of the day, because, that's probably what he is doing. Or he could be writing letters to his family, letters to his children. I've had defendants in my career write any number of things on these notepads. So it's a very high stress situation, obviously. And so, it can be anything at this point.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of defendants that write, but never to this extent. Lachelle tonight, I think he's planning on writing a book in prison. He'll have plenty of time on his hands to write a few books once the jury gives its verdict. Dave Arenberg, do you think there's anything to that perhaps that it's not about what's happening in court at the moment, or do you think it's about what's happening at that moment?
I think Lachelle has a point that I think he's thinking about after the trial. I don't think it's about a book as much as perhaps he could sell those notes for a lot of money afterwards. I was thinking about George Zimmerman. He made money by selling off all these things after he got acquitted in the Trayvon Martin killing. So I think maybe there's some of that, but also Teresa, I think, is right too, that he has nervous energy, and I think he's just writing as opposed to putting his hands up in his head and gesticulating where the jury could look at that and hold it against him.
Absolutely. Maury tonight, it's an aversion, so he doesn't have to make eye contact with the jury. And, that's the other thing with this COVID-modified situation, Nima, they really can't see him at all. I mean, he's got the mask on, so maybe you can see his eyes, but if his eyes are down writing, you're not seeing his face at all.
Vinny, I agree with Teresa. Criminal defendants, in my experience, they want to participate. Usually their defense attorneys are saying, hey, especially a law enforcement officer here.
You know what they were writing in your trials? They're writing, I hate this smug prosecutor. He's so good looking and he thinks he's so smart.
No, in my trials, in federal court, your case agent can actually sit next to you. So oftentimes out of FBI or DEA, believe it or not, they can sit there in court. You're not a law enforcement officer, and half of those guys or girls are attorneys, so they will give me amazing notes out on the facts or the law. But here, I think Chauvin is preparing his appellate brief because he knows he's going to get convicted, so he's just identifying all those potential frivolous issues that he's going to raise on appeal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a high stress situation. I'm not minimizing that at all. Gus tonight, notes for future legal cases, maybe notes for a book. He's writing whatever it is. It seems excessive, almost like he doesn't want people to look him in the eye, so he keeps them busy. Teresa, we only have about 20 seconds here, but is it possible to look too busy? Like, is it possible you could go overboard with what you're doing here, that it's so different than what we've seen before, that the jury's like, what are you doing?
That's possible, and I hate to say this, but anything's possible. But I think at the end of the day, while the jurors may look at it, I don't think it's going to adversely affect it any more than being on trial for murder. So it could be any number of things. To be quite honest.
Absolutely. Well, great job as always, folks. Teresa Jean-Pierre Coy, love having you on, criminal defense attorney. But Nima and Dave Herberg, I also appreciate you guys. Don't have that many prosecutors who come on, and you give us that great insight. Thanks so much. Please come back soon. Time to check back in with Court TV. Thank you. Court TV legal correspondent Julie Janae, who's live in Minneapolis with a preview of what we can expect tomorrow. And will it be Derek Chauvin on the witness stand first thing in the morning?
That's the big question, Vinny. We do not have any confirmation that he's going to take the stand, but we also didn't hear that he's not. So it is still open for the defense to call witnesses tomorrow. We know they have a expert in toxicology that's on deck, someone who's on the forensic panel with Dr. David Fowler, who we heard from today, so we likely will be hearing from that expert, but the judge will likely question Derek Chauvin on whether or not he wants to take the stand in his own defense. Then once the defense rests their case, the state will then have the opportunity to put on a rebuttal case, and then the jury will have a day off before closing arguments on Monday.
Almost there to the end, almost there. Not quite, but we're getting there. Closing arguments could be on Monday. Julie Janae in Minneapolis, awesome as always. Talk to you tomorrow night. That's it for us here, folks. Remember, 9 a.m., like Julia said, you don't know what's going to happen next. You got to be watching your front row seat to justice to find out. I'll be here from 8 to 11 with all the big moments inside the courtroom. Have a great night, everyone. I'm Vinny Pop, and as always, don't forget to hug.
3 years ago, a person dressed as a clown, holding flowers and balloons, rang the doorbell at Marlene Warren's home. But when Marlene answered, clown.
Mom.
Advanced DNA testing led authorities
Mom.
to Sheila T.
Mom.
Moore. The defendant ended up
Mom.
marrying the victim's husband.
It's like a Lifetime movie spot.
This is going to be a riveting case.
Mom, it's 10 o'clock. Mom.